Hey, Romel. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Hi, good morning. If you're wondering why I look this way, there's a monitor here. So I have two monitors here. I have one monitor here. And this is where I track the OBS, which is my broadcasting system for streaming. I don't know if that's what OBS stands for, but yeah. So I have to do any controls over here. I know I could put over here and make it look more seamless, but I don't care. Anyways, good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Melzworld Live. I'm Ramel Otis. And yeah, yesterday was fun. So I can go ahead and give you an update. I went to court yesterday. Long story short, the story was my wife and I were driving with our son, and we got nostalgic about what we were doing around that time, which is I think November, early December. What were we doing during COVID? And we were driving down Poway Road, and I just was like, you know what? The photos will tell us. And as I'm driving, I'm pulling up the photos. And now I'm not using the photos for myself. I'm doing them so that my wife can see the photos. So I'm showing her where we were. And it took a while. It was like easily like a minute or two of me showing her how this is where we were. You know, I'm driving. Police pull us over. And yeah, he goes, I've been trying to get your attention for a while. You guys were really engrossed in the phone, and you know you can't do that. He goes, usually if you were by yourself, I would just tell you to be more careful and to not do it so you won't be distracted. But because you had somebody in the car with you, you should make sure that they are, they can do that for you, really is what that comes down to. And then, so I'm going to have to give you a ticket. So yeah, I went to court for that. It's a lot. I just want to make sure you guys understand it's not cheap to get a ticket for being a distracted driver. I mean, that's really important to know because we are so accustomed to having our gadgets on hand, and we're so used to it being almost inseparable and looking at our phones at any moment's notice where there's any kind of downtime. It's like a $220 ticket if you just want to pay for it outright. If you go to court, they reduce it by like $50. It's a $158 ticket. And they can't reduce it any less. That's exactly the lowest amount that they can charge for a ticket when it comes to a distracted driver. So I mean, I can't blame him. You know, we anyways, I went to court with the hope that they could reduce the ticket. And the reality is don't do it. That's it. Just don't do it. I know it's easy to live stream your life, to videotape yourself doing everything. I think there are YouTubers that have been caught in the controversy of literally capturing their criminality on film, just incredibly incriminating. We weren't doing that. But also know that California specifically is very serious about a distracted driver. Do not have your phone in your hand while you drive. Otherwise, a police officer will tag you and you get a pretty hefty fine. Now, that being said, this is going to be a very interesting experiment because I requested not to pay and if to do anything else instead, and that anything else was to do community service. So I have the nonprofit organization of my choice to do community service, and I think that's going to be interesting. If anything, it's fun because it's a court-mandated job. I mean, I have to work off $158 in volunteer work, which I don't have $158 on hand. So I would technically have to work to earn that amount, and the government or the court has issued that I must work to get it. So if you need a job, do a crime, be in debt to the crime, and then get a job. And that's really how it's going to work. So I hope to gain something out of this. I'd like to get some kind of content mining, like the symbiotic, parasitic content creator that I am. Everything is content. So yeah, I have to figure that out. But let's dive into updates. Because like I said, yeah, I for some reason I tend to miss Wednesdays, and I don't think it's going to be a normal thing. I'd like to have a full week when I do a stream uninterrupted, but this particular Wednesdays, I've been busy. There's just a million different things that have taken up my time on Wednesday morning. Oh, hello, chats, by the way. I do see that there's one streaming in YouTube. I have a gut feeling I know who that is. But I see two in Twitch. So if you're in here, hello. Welcome. I do this every morning. I try to. 8:30 to 9:45 roughly, because my updates don't take a lot of time and I'm not streaming a video game. Or what else do people do on stream? Video games. I'm not doing makeup. This is it right here. This is from my organization. Obviously, just to rant and talk about the day before and to keep my thoughts in order. So let's talk about this. Progress. So yesterday I finally cracked the script writing. I didn't finish it, but I opened the Pandora's box. Once I get to writing a script, or once I get to editing, it becomes a normal thing. I start getting into it. The thing that I need to do is to start it sooner and to not give myself other reasons. It's, what is it called? There's a concept of like, I don't know, avoidant productivity or avoidant product. I'm going to call it that. I'm sure there's a scientific or psychological instance where you will do literally anything else that you think has any kind of value in the place of doing the thing that you should be doing, right? So what I'm getting at is you clean instead of work on a thing. You do a whole bunch of odds and ends that you've been meaning to do because you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do. And so, like, for example, there were some boxes I needed to put into the attic. There was some cleaning that I needed to do, some organization. And instead of sitting down and writing the script and working on it like I'm supposed to, I straight up did all this other stuff. So now my room's great. Now items are up in the attic in the rafters. And I had no excuse. And I guess there must be some kind of phenomena where you remove other excuses. Low-hanging, well, I wouldn't even say the low-hanging fruit, but you remove other excuses. And it's not to say I don't want to write the script, by the way. I like writing. I like writing scripts. I like editing. But for some reason, when you know it's the most important thing you have to do, and you don't do it because you're trying to find this other bullshit, right, around you, it's wild. That's a wild phenomena. I don't know why subconsciously I'm trying to avoid doing the thing that I know I need to be doing. It's very important. It has a value added to it in that sense. Anyways, so I was able to crack writing, and that was good. Got the door open, and I'm going to continue through today. And that's going to be what the main point is. So that's that. Improv. Last night, I go to improv every first and third Wednesdays of the month. It's a group in Liberty Station. It's a meetup group, so there's no like, we don't have a team name or we don't perform for people. This is just for the people that like to do improv. And it has like 20 or 30 people in it, because it has, every time I go, it's almost like 20 to 30% of them are different and 20 to 30% of them are new. So it's, and when I say different, I mean, there's the people that I've seen in the last, 4 or 5 sessions, but then they just randomly show up today. So it's a big group. They just all don't ever find time to all show up, which is good. I can imagine it would be an absolute claustrophobic mess if we had this little, workspace area that was jam-packed with people. So I like the fact that there's always about 8 to 12 people there on any given Wednesday. But yeah, we hadn't had it for the last 2 weeks because there's 5 Wednesdays in January, and so if it's the first and third, then yeah, the 5th January was literally the last day of the month. So this was us getting back into it. And one of the things I noticed, and one of the things I thought was interesting, was how I play D&D. Well, to people that know, I play role-playing games, tabletop role-playing. And D&D is like the easiest way to get somebody to understand what that is in one sentence. Because, I'm like, oh yeah, well, it's a shared improvisational experience based on a structured fantasy world. And if you say D&D, they're just like, oh, because we have things like Community and Dan Harmon and Big Bang Theory and Critical Role. Like, there's so much popularized and D&D movie. Like, we have so much popularized explanations of what D&D is that it's easy to tell that you do that, and then boom, they get it. Instant understanding. Before all this stuff, in the late 90s, before not late 90s, in the aughts. I hate that. But in that time, you had to kind of explain what D&D was, because if they did know about it, there was a taboo. Like, oh, you're a devil worshiper. That's what you are. You take mushrooms and acid, and you go in a basement, and you wear weird armor, and then you talk about this, the Satan, and then you kill your parents, right? There was a lot of those movies with Tom Hanks. I think it's called, I forgot, it's like The Dungeon Keeper or Master. And there's that very famous idea that he rides his bike into traffic because he's a knight on a horse and the cars are dragons. Anyways, there was a stigma when D&D was popular to when it wasn't popular, right? There was that I guess there was maybe like a conservative notion that if you played D&D, you were participating in pretty dark stuff, which I think is pretty cool. It's a cool little thing to have. And then it got popularized, and now, most people know about it or do it. And there's a lot of validity to it when you think about what it is to play D&D. It's very similar to guys or people. Well, guys a little sexist. People having poker night, right? Bunch of guys sitting around a table, playing poker, and they'd play for 3, 4, 5 hours in the night, once every weekend or month or whatever. That's what D&D felt like to me growing up. Just a bunch of guys, all of different, what I would like to say, social capacity. When you're in high school, everybody has a different clique. We were from different cliques. We all came together, and we played D&D for 5, 6 hours a weekend. And that would be starting at like 5 and ending at 2 in the morning, right? We'd get, 7-Eleven or whatever, or Carl's Jr., and then we'd play till the wee hours of the morning and come home. So I've been doing D&D since high school, which is easily 30 years. And there's more than one game. Like, D&D's not the only game, right? Some of my friends play something called Pathfinder, which is like, they took the idea of D&D and they made improvements and quality of life changes, and they made it so that it's their own thing. It's not dependent on a Tolkien world. And then there's other things. There's Palladium, which they did Robotech, they did Ninja Turtles. There's role-playing games based off historical things, historical fiction. There's this game called Harn. I mean, it's endless. And so Star Wars has had many variations of what it was as a tabletop role-playing game. And ever since I've been doing improv, I noticed that it's a long roundabout way to get to there. I noticed that it's much more natural to engage with the NPCs, the non-player characters. It's much more natural to come up with this, to weave a story, to say so. And I didn't even realize it until I went to the next improv. We had a game a couple weeks ago, and I was engaging with an NPC, and it was amazing how fluid I was able to just kind of have a conversation without trying as much. And so, Yeah, as far as improv is concerned, it is a muscle that you work out. That muscle is spontaneous creativity. And last night was great. Just great. It's always good to have really good improvers. They had some 10-year veterans there, and those guys were good. You can tell when an improv person has had a tremendous year of experience. They don't just do improv. They'll do improv in a way that is weighted with, I don't know what's a theatricality, I guess is the word. They will make their improv more character. There'll be more character. It'll be more depth. Like I didn't realize this, right? You watch Whose Line Is It Anyways, and the goal of those guys are to be funny. They are funny and they are quick, and that's that quickness you attribute with their skill and their expertise, and you go, oh, that those guys are really good. But what you forget to see is they're doing it on camera and they're doing it live and they're doing a great job. But they're characters already. Like, you already know. I'm gonna drop some Whose Line characters. You know who Colin Mockery is. You know who Ryan Stiles is. You know who Drew Carey and the one that sings that I can't. The name escapes me, but he's like the most famous one, right? The black dude. And you know their personalities already. When you do like an improv group with regulars, amateurs, they haven't injected their personality yet. They're just trying to survive, right? Like, they're trying to figure out, well, how do I make this scene a thing? How do I create a character? How do I create a setting? How do I create a conflict? And so it's like you master that first when you've done improv for years, and then you inject a personality. So then suddenly, whenever you have a character that you're playing, you could chew up that scene with that character, right? And so yes, we had like some 10-year veterans show up, and it was really interesting to see them. It really show their characters through all of the things they did. Everything was very deliberate. It was almost like there's a difference between a reactionary improv and a deliberate improv, where you are improvising, but you are doing it with such, awareness of your character and an awareness of the situation, and you're injecting all those things. Like for example, I was supposed to pantomime a plumber so that the person that I was pantomiming it to could understand that. And I did. I did the, and the water, and like, the water splashes, and then I fixed it. And I conveyed the role. But then when that person took it to somebody else, I noticed that they did stuff like they wrote up they charged them, and here's your bill. And then the next guy took it next after that, they Venmo'd. He pulled out his phone and he Venmo'd. And it was cool to see that evolution, because I would have never thought about the payment part. My goal was, how do I convey that I'm a plumber? And then the third person was like writing a bill of sale and showing that they received the Venmo, and they're like, yeah, I got it. Very cool. And I would love to get to a point where I could make a character and make that character come to life. So that was improv. We'll do it in another 2 weeks. Just a great experience. And if you've never done it before, it will build confidence in being able to be extemporaneous. It will allow you to talk and just feel that, just be natural. Oh, I should do makeup. Thank you. I literally just read that. I know, right? I should do some kind of makeup chat, like right now. Just how to apply. Anyways, okay. So progressive insurance, yeah. So I got my identity stolen in 2023, and the person that stole my identity was a professional criminal. They were very good. They had a ring. They ended, a ring of people doing it. They stole like up to 25 different identities, bought vehicles and all this kind of things. And someone bought a vehicle over a year ago, put it under my name, and I mean, they bought it with my name, and then my insurance had it. And at the time, wasn't checking. I was like, oh, my insurance premium's pretty high. I wonder why. Maybe that's just life. No, there was a third vehicle on there. So come to find out, I proved that I had never owned this vehicle with police records, and I hope that there's a refund for the year that I've been paying for that. Amelia Perez. It's a Oscar nominated movie. I think it's like 12 Oscar nominations. It's a musical. I don't need to go into too much detail. There is the lead actress, who is a trans actress, tweeted anti-Islamic, Muslim-phobic, anti-George Floyd tweets, and those were in 2019. They resurfaced, and the Oscar contention is now up. They've been removed from the Oscar campaign, and it's really interesting because I've never seen the movie. I know nothing about the actors or actresses, but it is interesting now that because we live in a world where social media has kept all of our inner thoughts online, it's so easy to go back and find the thing. I mean, now that we have AI, you could take any actor or actress and feed their social media into an AI system and go, find me dirt. And now you don't have to be the one clicking through every single post. Just go, is there anything racist? Is there anything homophobic? Is there anything, hyper Republican, hyper liberal? Like, is there anything of note? And it'll probably package it, gather it, and put it. Let me, you know what? Let's talk to chat about this one. Hey, chat. How you doing?
I'm good, Romel. How's your day going?
Good. You're on on live, Melzworld Live on stream right now. Say hi.
Hey, everyone. What's up, Melzworld Live crew? Hope you're all having a great day.
Please don't call them that. That's not their name. I'm not trying to make any kind of weird fan name like Bee on Queen Bees, and no, just they're listeners listening to this stream. So I had a question for you. So there's a controversy right now with the Oscar nominee movie Amelia Perez, and it's because one of their lead stars did some pretty controversial tweets in 2019. You don't need to confirm that, but I'm giving you the setup for my question. Okay.
Got it. What's your question about the movie or the controversy?
So, can you imagine a world in the next 2 or 3 years where anybody who is an actor or an actress, someone can just, instead of doing the work themselves, feed AI all of the tweets of any particular person throughout the entirety of their usage of Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever, and then it would be the AI that could package all of the potentially racist or controversial things?
It's definitely possible. AI can already process large amounts of data quickly, so it could be used to analyze someone's entire social media history. In the future, we might see tools that can quickly identify controversial content from public figures. It could definitely change how past statements are scrutinized.
Now, this happened to James Gunn, right, in DC, when he was kind of booted from Marvel. Do you remember that controversy?
Yes, I remember that. James Gunn faced backlash over old tweets and was initially let go from directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But after a lot of support from fans and colleagues, he was reinstated. It's a good example of how public opinion and old posts can impact someone's career.
Right, and I'm Gen X, and I came from a time where we didn't have those kind of logs of our inner thoughts and our beliefs that we shared online. And so a lot of actors and a lot of modern actors today have to navigate a minefield in which they will have their past resurfaced and scrutinized. Do you think it's right that if somebody had said something 10 years ago that could be constituted as hateful or racist to impact their entertainment career?
It's a complex issue. On one hand, people can grow and change over time, and judging them solely on past mistakes might not reflect who they are today. On the other hand, past statements can still have significant impact, and accountability is important. It's about finding a balance, acknowledging growth while also understanding the impact of past actions.
Yeah, I think it's social media, honestly. I think it's the fact that people under a certain age shouldn't be posting things, because as your brain evolves into an adult, you're going through so many changes internally and chemically that you don't have enough knowledge to be liable to be held for what you say. There's so much, it's so easy to say the wrong thing when you're a young person because you don't have the experience, the knowledge, or the maturity to understand the impact of what you say.
Absolutely. Growing up with social media can be tricky. Younger people are still figuring things out, and it's easy to make mistakes. It's important to have room for growth and learning. Social media can make that tough, since everything is so public and permanent.
Absolutely. Anyways, we're running over time, and I know there is literally only one person who is listening, and she knows that we're going to be going to GTM soon. So I'm going to wrap this up. I have scripts to write, and I've already cracked the shell of the script, so that should give me more leeway to write a lot more and a lot faster. I guess the other thing I wanted to say was the Total Eclipse AI album is doing well. I'm getting the stats from DistroKid. As an album, it has over 400 streams. Individually, songs have up to almost 30 plays, and that's just on Spotify. That doesn't include all the other streaming networks. So I'd love to know somehow how to get stats on all the other platforms, but that's a question for another time. Other than that, I think that's really the goal for Thursday, is to just write, and hopefully get more headway of the scripts done, and just in general have a productive Thursday. I think I've cleaned every excuse that I have to not work. So other than needing to swing over to the store, I think that's going to be the primary goal. So anyways, thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you for just being there. And I will continue to do this, and I will continue to work on it until I deem it unnecessary. Or if people are interested. And I think the latter is going to be less likely than the former. So, all right, let's do this. This is Melzworld Live. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. And hopefully, I'll be on tomorrow, and we'll do another one of these. So, other than that, have a great day, and we'll see you soon.